Was the thumbnail too misleading? I mean, properly speaking, arthritis is in the joints. But I don't have any photographs of joints or any joints that I could take photographs of. I don't even have any edibles. Although now that I have arthritis, maybe I can get a prescription for edibles? I've actually been pretty sure for several years that I have arthritis. I mean, there's this. I didn't know which one I had, but I knew I had it. I thought I had the kind of arthritis that didn't hurt. Really, they never hurt. Well, except for this one time when I thought it had only been going on for a little while. They weren't as bad as this yet. And I thought if I tried, I could straighten them out. And I tried to straighten them out, and that hurt a lot. But after I stopped trying to straighten them out, it stopped hurting and settled down. And I just got used to it, and it never occurred to me that this was something that could get worse and could really complicate my life as I got older. I should have known that, but I didn't. In November of 23, I started having trouble with my neck. It got really sore and stiff. I didn't associate it with my hand, though. I figured I'd done something to my neck, that I'd slept on it wrong or moved it the wrong way. Maybe it was my pillow. I figured it would clear up on its own. In due time, it didn't. It got worse, and the tendons and muscles in my neck got really sore and stiff. Tightened up my shoulders. I've always carried a lot of tension in my shoulders, but nothing like this. It got hard for me to turn my head. I felt like a nun in a veil, always having to turn my whole upper body when I wanted to look to one or the other side. One of my sisters mentioned arthritis to me. I had a wellness visit coming up at the end of January and decided to bring it up with my doctor. I also mentioned to my doctor that my left knee was fine with walking even long distances, but would start to hurt when I was standing still for as brief a period of time as 5 minutes. She ordered x-rays for my neck and my left knee, as well as a bone density test. The bone density test came out normal, which was something. The x-rays came back with a diagnosis of moderate osteoarthritis in my neck and moderately severe, or was it severely moderate? Moderately severe osteoarthritis in my left knee, whatever that means. The tension in my neck, much of it due, I suspect, to uncertainty as to what was going on, began to ease almost immediately following the diagnosis. The neck still hurt, but nowhere near as much as it had. Most of the tightness drained away. I could actually move my head again without having to stifle whimpers of pain. The knee, oddly, seemed suddenly to be much worse. I had been able before the diagnosis to walk my regular distances of somewhere between 2 and 3 miles easily at one go. My knee hurting only when I was standing still for any length of time. Honestly, it frightened me, thinking that I might end up being unable to walk any distance at all. All that time, though, more than it frightened me, it puzzled me. It just made no sense. Why should a condition abruptly become so much worse following an official diagnosis? I thought maybe I knew the answer to that question, and I posted a query on Facebook. Is it a thing for symptoms to suddenly get much worse after getting an official diagnosis? In case I hadn't made myself clear, I added in the comments, meaning, am I psyching myself into feeling so much worse? The general consensus from friends and family was that, yeah, that made sense that it might affect you that way. With that confirmation of my suspicions became an immediate recovery, almost back to where I had been before my neck started paining me in November. It took the knee a little longer, but within a couple of weeks I was back to walking 2 to 3 miles at a go without pain. Just standing still did and does continue to cause pain. But that had been the case for over a year, I think. I went on Amazon and I did a search and I found a really wonderful pillow, a molded foam pillow that just cradles my neck and head, and my sleep since I got that pillow has been wonderful. I also bought some compression socks, which do help with walking and standing. And I had been noticing some weakness in my hands and soreness in my thumbs, and so I bought some compression gloves as well, and they also help. Compression is a wonderful thing. I do have pain, mostly in my neck, and I get sometimes rather bad headaches. I really want, though, to put off the use of prescription painkillers for as long as I can stand to. So my doctor and I talked about it, and I'm taking ibuprofen 3 times daily, but with 600 max, no, 1200 max. And I know that this can cause gastric problems, and we talked about that, but I tried Tylenol arthritis, but I didn't think it would work because Tylenol has never worked for me, and it did not work. So the doctor agreed that she didn't necessarily want to put me on prescription painkillers any sooner anyway than I needed them, and that I'm careful to take the ibuprofen with food and be very careful about when and how much I take. And there are times when I can't remember when I took it, in which case I do not take it again. I don't say, I'm pretty sure I didn't take it. I just don't take it again if I can't remember for sure whether I took it already that morning or on my way to bed or something. And so far it really helps. It helps to relieve the inflammation, which is a lot of the pain. I have good days and bad days. But I am so grateful that I can still do all the things that I used to do. I can do all the things I enjoy, that I love. I just do them a little slower now, and I have to adapt sometimes the way that I do things before it becomes necessary. Might as well get used to it. That's why I'm so glad I started walking with a stick. There are some times when coming home from a walk, I'm just so glad that I have that stick and that it's second nature to me to use it. And it occurs to me too that maybe my neck will never hurt again as much as it did before the diagnosis. And maybe my knee is never going to hurt again as much as it did after the diagnosis. I mean, maybe I have felt the worst. And now it's kind of a feeling of, well, how much time do I have? Do I have enough time? That because it set in, I don't know what time it usually sets in, time of life, and that you usually start experiencing it. I know that I've been, especially considering the lack of care I have taken of my body in some respects, I'm pretty darn lucky that I've gone this long without complications related to age and weight, and that I started the walking again. Laura, thank you. I mean, your recommendation on that has done so much for me. And I guess all there is to do is just wait and see what happens. Now I realize I have not said anything about feet and arthritis in feet. And I do have arthritis in my feet. Well, I think it's all over. I don't think it's you just say I have arthritis. You could say I feel the arthritis in X part of the body. But think it's probably pretty sure if it's in my knees and in my neck that it's in my feet. And I have noticed some things on my feet. My feet have changed. I know that's a common thing, and that's a thing. That's part of why I didn't say anything about feet in this one, because there is a lot to be said about feet and being an older person. I mean, there's a lot, and they never tell you about what happens to your feet. I mean, my mother had feet that had suffered. They'd seen some living. And she used to say that it was because she'd been put en point. I have no idea how to pronounce that. She said point. Okay. Mother said point. So, although she used to deliberately mispronounce French, so, But she said that she had been put on point in ballet class when she was too young, and that's why her feet looked like that. But I took ballet but never went on point, and so why do my feet begin to look like my mother's feet? And even my mother's hands, which I used to think that my hands looked like my mother's hands, even my mother's fingers never looked like these. I mean, it's alarming. It's so bad. Anyway, I'm going to have a whole video about feet. I don't know when, but it's coming. And thanks so much for looking in and checking this out. And if you are still here at this point, double thanks. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that y'all have a great weekend and a great week next week. And I'm hoping that, that you will see me anyway next week. Time will tell. This was something new. I wrote a script, as you might have been able to tell. I don't know how many times I recorded it. And I go, oh my God, I can see my eyes moving and everything. I can tell I'm reading it. But it helps me not have so many long silences, not have to cut things out. So I'm really curious about your thoughts about the script, not the quality of the script. I know the quality is fine. The delivery is another question altogether. And I do great at cold readings, and this isn't even a cold reading. Anyway, but please, let me know, should I just go off the cuff? Should I do what I did here where I'm glancing at the script to keep me on track every once in a while? Let me know what kind of a delivery you prefer. And, let me know down in the comments. And I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all have to say about it. Bye.